Level 80, Alizé's quest. Kryle's eyes light up at the sight of you. Oh, greetings. Come to look in on our friends. Rest assured, everyone is quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they are all in fine health. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how best to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we?
Well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Yay.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows, in light of which possibility I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Welcome back, everyone!
Lise!
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lise Hext, former scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
The new guy. You got your replacement, Lise.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the First. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it. Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Still a whole other expansion left.
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
Wow.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? All right, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire.
They did say they wanted us to have a get-together during the last patch.
So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne. The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble. The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald, and we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Yeah, tell amigo.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Oh, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the tempered.
Nice. Well, we can stop killing them
course.
all.
You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you use to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
Lead on. I like stuffy meetings. What meeting? Lead on.
I knew you'd say yes.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
I mean, he still has all the memories from the other one, right?
We shall be on our way then.
They
Godspeed.
got like 100 years worth of doing this sort of thing. That's really helpful. And then all the stuff they learned with Beck Lug. When I set out to save Howrick, I think Gabu was always at the back of my mind, and having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I am convinced that the same must be true of the tempered. Oh yeah, that's a little kobold. Yeah. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the ether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alizé, and it warrants full investigation. If there's even a chance we can save Gabu, we have to try, but however much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there's no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. As I'm sure Beckluck would remind us, we still know little and less about the soul. Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. So before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps, but what of the ancient counterparts? I know the Alligans took a more than passing interest in the subject. And if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Etherochemical Research Facility. Where they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did read the reports on Aziz's Law, which means we'll be needing an airship. Hehehe. An airship, you say? Meet me at the northern bank of Silvertear Lake. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. Mike's a little high. Adjust it real quick. Yeah, there we go. That should be fine. Revenant's Toll. Haven't played this in a while. What's this again? Glossy. All right, well, we got our own airship now. Not the Enterprise. Doesn't look like it anyways. You've been learning stuff in our absence. I give you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. Yay, we got our own airship. I built her as a company project with help from our friends at the Rising Stones and named her for luck and prosperity. Ataru, this is amazing. We'll be able to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship, I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coin keeper. I'd also introduce myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped, but that's alright because we've hired this capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters, by the way. Feel free to use them to get around Aziz's Law. But enough talk, it's time to fly, all aboard. We're gonna get it as a mount, too? Right. Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way that airship flies. Satoru has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are on Aziz's Law, and Alphinaud's report did not do the scale of this place justice. Level 80, Alice's quest, complete. Level 80, the wisdom of Alec. Grahatia surveys his surroundings with an expectant glint in his eye. This appears to be Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lies the Beta Quadrant, and... Yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on Aziz's Law, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records in the Crystal Tower. Unless I am mistaken, this path leads to an ether right beyond which there will be an information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. Where we get our anima weapons. Here's the terminal. A moment while I search the archives for references to tempering. Did not call it something different. I mean, they would have to have a way to protect against it, because the only way we know of so far is the echo. Ah, there we are. Iconic corruption, an overview. That sounds promising. Indeed, let us see what this report has to say. Confound it, the contents appear to have been deleted. What? No, isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid, but it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. The question is where to look. It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. Is it likely that he kept a copy? I would say it is a distinct possibility. Assuming he was a researcher here, he will have had his quarters on the Habisphere. We can ascertain the details at Habisphere Control. That's where we find Prey Online. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the mana cutters. We will need them to reach our destination. I forgot, you already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship. Then we'll see you at the Habisphere. Yeah, they don't have mount. We have our own mount. We'll be fine. Yeah, there's a super fate that spawns on the Habisphere. Also catch some fish over there too. Prey Online, it's where you get the Ultima horns. Where you get the exoplating to trade in for the Ultima horns. These. You have to do it twice to get a set though. This first island might be the control. The big one right there in front is the Habisphere. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this node will be able to tell us its number. There, from what I recall of the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of, Warning, an evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to the Habisphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again, in all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the Fourth Umbral Calamity, and I doubt it will be lifted in the near future. This is energy level critical, returning to base for recharging. Well, surely there must be some other way to gain access. Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I have an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for the suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points of stagnant ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall. Are you honestly telling me that it was in the records too? I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that lightning aspected ether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfered with equipment. Minor detail, I grant you, but in my role as caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much Allegan knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me to feel connected to the source, to home. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind, but to finally stand here with the two of you, 'tis more exhilarating than I can well express. Now then, the lightning shard, if I may. I suggest we split up and search the Beta Quadrant. Oh, but beware of sprites. They are wont to manifest where the ether is stagnant. Now you're just showing off, which makes me think we should make a contest of this. The first to return here with a shard wins. What do you say? Very well, it would be my honor to come third. Okay. Oh. Daily PvP roulette at our map. Really small. I think I gotta enter a cave here. As this law, you're such a pain. I think we have to go this way, actually. And make it as complicated as possible. Yeah, here we go. Nope, that's not the right one. Here we go. I mean, this is a neat looking area, but it's a huge pain in the ass to get around. There's one etherite. Okay. Where is it? There it is. Sometimes takes a moment to spawn. Bravo, that was quite a show, adventurer. Why, the spectacle proves so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slip my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. Who are you? Show yourself at once. What? No dramatic entrance? You've changed. Very funny. Now let's get back to work. Forgive me, the scene so reminded me of our first meeting. I couldn't resist. Well, the contest continues, so you had better hurry back. But one last thing. Thank you for bringing me here. He's just a fan, that's all. Almost as bad as Americ. Definite improvement over Lise. Wrong one. Never wants to target the right one. It appears Alizé had no luck, so victory is yours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? What is it that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? That is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect we could both learn a great deal from Zelia, not only about the secrets of adventuring, but come, we should attend to our mission. Hemisphere. Excellent. The system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Hemisphere. Only one obstacle remains, the security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I am right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes, but if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but iconic corruption and overview sounds like a studium thesis. We all had to write one. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alphinaud's was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. Controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlian's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alphinaud was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently, by which I mean the rows were long. To be fair to him, though, he's since learned to be a little more open-minded, but deep down he still holds fast to that one belief, and I admire him for it. I should have liked to meet the young Alphinaud for what it's worth. My thesis concerned the Allegan civilization as depicted in folklore. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the studium. I didn't. A thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers at the Students of Baldesion convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Nice. Though I considered it no more than a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved, but enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of his report still survives, it would be stored in this device. Shall we find out? Initializing. Scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as a guest, please complete biometric authentication. Verifying. Authentication complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am at your most humble service, your highness. It never ceases to amuse me. 'Tis but a pity the effect will not last forever. Doga and Unai said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. Searching. One item found. Iconic corruption. An overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Royal authority. Is that not enough to override? Well, go on then, your highness. Tell the nice node the password. Right, let's see. Glory be to Alleg. Long live Emperor Zande. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. Come now, passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance, Password. Would have been my first guess, too. The notion that the password could be something so inane would be laughable were it not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. What did that thing just call me? Wild Rose. Courage. Wild Rose was the one for the Scions, wasn't it? Let's try Courage. Password incorrect. Again, be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina into cooperating, it is them. Come, let us bear the node back to the Rising Stones. Level 80, the Wisdom of Alec. Complete. Level 80, Reviving the Legacy. Grahatia seems eager to bear the node away. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambrose did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext. However much I might look forward to seeing him again, him and everyone, but come, let us be on our way. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Just teleport. The Rising Stones. What could Sid be working on? Wonderful news. Tataru contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I should very much like to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Cryo? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our Doman allies, the War of Succession rages on and the Empire remains without a leader. It's a chaos. The Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Of greatest concern to us is the Third, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. The two Brute? Brutus, aren't they the ones who took in Yotsuyu and Asahi? This bodes well. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Till such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict, and so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions among the Beast tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of the decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, this is not a problem easily solved. The Lemenzans, in particular, struggle in their efforts, and Alphinaud and Ishtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we are dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. On that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's respite? I'll show Sid in as soon as he arrives. Sure, why not? He's best to talk to the node. Oh no, I see it on the floor. Didn't even notice it at first. Sid. Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, I would have been had you not fulfilled your promise. I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. And speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? The node knows. Well, a treatment for tempering, and for the next step, you need to find the password to this Allegan's report. Just so, with nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly, and thus we turn to you. I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambros. It contains an Allegan dictionary. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to a terminal and set it to work right away. I'm gonna brute force it. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, milady. Node, open the report entitled Iconic Corruption and Overview. Password freedom. Password accepted. Opening report. Loop. 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 This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than another. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause a subject's ether to become aligned with the element of earth. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. The stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom can come to consume their entire existence. In this manner do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to further empower the entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. Curtain call. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I recorded in hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not and find a cure for victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the Alligans were able to find a cure, or rather, were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, this confirms the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. Yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do naught to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may well intensify it. Now, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining in its thrall. We could only make them remember who they were, so there's no point in reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self. But of course, memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation, that is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to the tempering. Through thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the indictments of false faith which had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see the theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us identify suitable memories for reanimation. Are you confident you can adapt memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. They did, you are right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism, and I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. We got Sid there. See, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics, which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years' worth of tests within the space of a few days. That's convenient. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. It'll take more calculating power, a lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait, a password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted his report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective, I believe their motto was freedom through technology or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Things are about to get very busy. Lucky we have you to help, eh? Right, while Grahatia and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of the both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I trust Dilly and Alizé with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. Take them to the Sky Steel Manufactory in Ishgard and a ceruleum processing plant in Thanalin. The people there will give you what we need. Yours are the well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalin. I mean, I ended their war. They love me there. Old machinist buddies. Welcome back, Mr. Zilli. How may I serve you this day? So you are after ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to our engineer at the airship landing. He shall be glad to assist you. Ceruleum, you've come to the right man. Fair warning, though, the price has got shot up on account of uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you've got the coin. I got a note. Now, a promissory note from the Ironworks. Don't see many of these. Not that it's a problem. It's as good as gold to me. Namerick.
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places. As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find. I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed.
Yeah.
Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it.
Sounds good.
In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
Way to go. That was simple enough. Been here in a while.
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much? Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it. Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Some people have all the luck.
That indeed.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
Nero. Gotta be Nero, right? Saw him in the trailer.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering. But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
Such an ass.
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel, not only across dimensions, but through time. Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto. Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin.
Light him up.
All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
Time for a break, huh? Just running simulations. Can't do a whole lot while it does it. It's like downloading stuff or waiting for your YouTube video to upload. Tataru's sleeping. Everybody's sleeping.
Damn it. It's overloading.
Chief! She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh!
Well, this is going swimmingly.
What an ass.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you. There! I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
Yay! God damn.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
I mean, it serves several purposes besides just not having to kill everybody who gets tempered. Like, if you can cure them from being tempered, then they lessen the strength of the primals, and some of them might even stop being summoned completely.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
Reviving the Legacy, level 80, complete.